London, one of the most diverse cities in the world. With over 200 languages spoken, the need to reach into the community is great. Development trusts do this and more. They are owned and led by local people to benefit the area socially, economically and environmentally.
The Westway Development Trust was started because this great monster of a motorway tore through this area of North Kensington and demolished about 350 houses in an area where housing was a big issue. So it was no real surprise that the local community roused up against this motorway. They lost that fight because the motorway got built. The second prize was the creation of the trust to bring these 23 acres of land back into use for the benefit of the local area.
Well, we really know about the sports centre because we live locally, we've always lived in the area, and it's somewhere you can bring your children, and which is really important. When you live in such a built-up area, there aren't lots of spaces for children to play or do exercise, so you can bring them along here. They can do good exercise, they can do climbing, they can do football, fives, lots of different things which they might normally not have a chance to do.
I think it brings lots of people together. We also build up partnerships with the local community, and as Sporting said the other day, we're like a little hub for lots of various different groups.
I just hold on to them, and then I get the other one, and then I put my feet on the one I was holding, and then I put my next feet on the other one. That's how I get up and up higher.
The Westway also has an impressive commercial property portfolio.
Well, the Westway Development Trust has 115 commercial tenancies. There's over 800 people working in our properties, both the commercial and the non-commercial. And those 115 tenancies focused very largely on the creative media and fashion industries at this end of the estate, but also ranging to light industrial, are producing 1.5 million a year in rent for the trust. So that's what's paying for our work. That's the financial engine of the trust.
30-odd years down the line, the story is sort of so far so good. One of the real delights about the Westway is that it has achieved financial self-sufficiency. So it develops its programs and its projects very much in contact with the local community rather than in contact with government funding regimes.
In Tottenham, the Selby Trust was developed to prevent the closure of the Selby Centre in 1992. Today it is a hothouse for community economic development and community empowerment.
A lot of the people that come in here tend to be people from the local community who haven't been in education for a long time, and they're very nervous and they're very like, oh my God, I can't do this, computers really scare me. And for us it's just about getting them to say, let's just take small steps and we can achieve this.
I find it not scary anymore, but getting used to things, and it's really helpful and good.
I mean, anybody can come to Selby. You know, it's so diverse that like you get every culture coming in here, so everybody feels that this is a place they can come to.
The most important thing about working at Selby is it gives people an opportunity to grow, to face the challenges in their life, and to create a more stable future for themselves.
I'm able to do more for myself. You know, I don't have to depend on anyone. I can go and go on holiday and can have my own home, or there's a lot of things that I can do now I couldn't do before.
Development trusts are engaged in economic, social and environmental regeneration of an area.
The Environment Trust is one of Britain's larger development trusts, run by local people for local benefit, and it does housing, educational and social projects.
What we've proved here at the Environment Trust is that you can have a community organisation run a finance programme with an objective of alleviating poverty, and we've done that. The microcredit programme really started when 5 people came to the Environment Trust wanting a loan to start a business, just £500 at a shot, and the Environment Trust gave them small loans, starting from a small overdraft of about £10,000. We've now expanded to a loan fund of over £150,000. We've made 100, 200, 300 loans and started over 300 businesses in the last 4 years. The programme's been really successful. We've had a 98% repayment rate, recognition from the Bank of England, NatWest Bank and the New York Federal Reserve Bank.
The Trust invested nearly £500,000 worth of its assets in staff time to create assets for the whole community. And here, the shops under the Green Bridge generate £450,000 a year towards the park's maintenance. We try to look at things holistically, whether it's looking at the educational needs or the environmental needs or the social needs of the local community. And we work very closely with local people to change their environment.
You wouldn't believe you're in the heart of the East End in Tower Hamlets Cemetery Park, which is a very special place. Nature reserves are primarily managed for both wildlife and people, so they allow people who live in the city to make that connection with wildlife and learn about some of the things that go on in rural England and rural Britain.
The Environment Trust's main concerns are threefold at the moment. One is to promote our Green Homes programme, which provides affordable housing built with private finance to the highest environmental standards possible. The second is to promote the creation of further community assets, and we're doing that both locally and elsewhere. And the third is in developing renewable energy.
Development trusts create opportunities. They encourage people to help themselves and to be involved in the growth of their own community.
Hello, this is Accountly, Women's Development Trust. We run courses for women here. We also provide welfare benefit advice. We help women to get back into employment.
The great thing I have learned from the Development Trust is how to run my business. Because I had no idea, because I was planning to do a business, but I had no idea how to run it. So when I had the meeting with them, I'm planning, they told me how to run it, how to deal with the customers and everything.
I have a boutique, and the reason why I have this boutique, I would say, is because I found out about Account Free, which is a women's development trust. I had a lack of confidence, and they boost your confidence. You know, you boost each other's confidence.
20 years ago on the South Bank, Coin Street community builders proved there is another way when they started what is now an overwhelming community enterprise.
Coin Street has made such a difference to my life. I lived in an old Victorian rundown flat. They gave me a new home, a wonderful flat. They've given me a chance of my own business, small though it may be, and I'm getting a living, and that's terrific, you know, all down to Coin Street.
Coin Street is about building a community where there was none before. So we've built 220 new homes, all for people in housing need, and they're run by the tenants themselves, organised as co-ops. We planned this thing very much with the growing leisure market, with the idea of strengthening the South Bank sort of identity for the arts. So we have designer makers, we have restaurants, we have art galleries which we run ourselves. It used to be completely dead around here. The whole area had been derelict for about 30 years when we bought it. Now it is a thriving place enjoyed not just by local residents and the people who work locally, but by Londoners generally, and of course the great international tourist trade. Development trusts, to my mind, are the model for the future. But to work, we need to have assets. And that's really the challenge, I think, for politicians around the country, is to ensure that organisations, when they're starting up, get this opportunity to build up assets that will make them sustainable, that will give them the independence that allows them to be true partners of government, whether local, national, and they can meet and challenge the private sector where that's necessary.
The story is sort of so far so good.
You know, there's a lot of things that I can do now I couldn't do before.
They boost your confidence, you know, you boost each other's confidence.
Coin Street has made such a difference to my life.